Hi everybody, it's Richard from the Homeschool Freedom Club, and today I've got Leann with me, and this is another one of the series of interviews that I'm doing to try and help families who may be sat on the fence to see what other people are doing to earn an income and to hopefully try and inspire a few of you towards home education. So Leann, thank you ever so much for agreeing to come and chat with me today. I'm really glad to have you here. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, about your family situation, and about how you got into home education to start with?
Yes, hi. So thanks for having me. I'm Leanne, and I'm a single mom to two kids. So I've got an older child who's 20, and I've got a younger child who's 8. So I think with home ed, it kind of came about. It's always kind of, I think, been a idea to take my child out of school. So my eldest child went through primary school. And then towards the end of primary school, there was loads of issues kind of coming up. Policies and communication with the school. And I used to always say, if this isn't working for my child, I'll take her out of school. And I was told that it's not possible. So I didn't actually know that home ed existed and it was something you could do.
Yeah.
And so she went to secondary school, um, and the environment just wasn't for her. So at 13, she'd had a few incidents in school. I didn't feel safe sending her in. Um, and knowing that, for most of the day, I can't see what she's doing or protect her if anything is to go wrong. Um, and that's when I actually started to research, like, can you take your child out of school? Is this something you can do? And I came across home ed and realised it's an actual option
Yeah.
and that it was something I could do. So I researched it a little bit and found how to take her out. So yeah, I started home ed a teenager. So fun, fun times. But yeah, that's how I came to home eds. With my youngest, it was from the beginning really. He went to nursery, so I could then spend time focusing on the older one and taking her to activities where you can't have babies. Um, so he was in nursery just 2 days a week, which worked for us. And then after nursery, we went straight into home ed. So he hasn't been to school ever. So yeah, it's been very different
Yeah.
having the two sides and the two aspects of home ed, I suppose. Yeah.
That's yeah. I can imagine maybe launching straight into it with a teenager isn't maybe not a bit of a baptism of fire. I'm guessing because it's like it's a big sort of change in the way that you're both doing everything, isn't it? And
Yeah.
and we talk about sort of deschooling that for every year that a child's been in school, it takes a good month to get that sort of programming out of their system and to get used to something different. So I imagine at the start of that, probably there was a little bit of a period where you were both kind of a bit all at sea and how's this going to work? And
Yeah. I think I kind of jumped in with we've got to do everything, we've got to like get you here, we've got to be involved, and it became very overwhelming
yeah,
for me because I wanted to make sure she was obviously getting right access to things. Um, and she made one comment which I think really hit home, which was like you're trying to force me to do things I don't want to do, and isn't why you took me out of school. And I was like, I did.
well played.
I
Yeah,
was like, okay, like maybe we need to rethink this.
yeah,
She just wanted to actually spend time with me, so that was also a reason. I was quite an involved parent even when she was in school. I think the school system is not set up for parents who actually want to be involved and want to know what they're learning and coming in for meetings and things. So yeah, I think the connection I thought I had with her already, so that wasn't at the forefront of my mind. It was more like giving her the education and access to things. And she just said, I just want to spend time with you. I thought that's why we're
wow.
doing it. It's not going to all these clubs. So yeah, that was interesting to hear your teenager say, like, I just want to do something with you.
Yeah. That's really wonderful though. And what a great connection you two must have. And
Yeah.
and I think because again, there's when you like you've got a teenager, then there's all this. People get very concerned about how they're going to do exams, what they're going to do. So, what's your daughter? How did you get sort of around that, and how did you deal with that, and what's she up to now?
Um, so we attended our local college. They have a home ed program
Hmm.
from 14 to 16.
Yeah,
So for me, as a single parent, price of exams does come up and people do question that for, how are we going to do 10 exams?
yeah,
Obviously, they don't need all that many. For me, maths and English was the priority. And then if there's anything else, we can add it later.
yeah,
So for her to be able to do that at college meant there was no cost for me. It's funded.
yeah.
I know not all colleges do it, but I think some local colleges, like within the UK, have that access. So she did maths, she did English, and then she went to college
Yeah,
and she did 2 years in college doing travel and tourism. So
fantastic.
yeah, because we travel as a family, it's quite big for us and it's had quite an influence on her upbringing as well.
Yeah,
Um, and the same for my little one. So that she kind of went that route, but she wants to teach,
yeah.
which was a bit like, well, are you sure that's what you want? But that's her interest at the moment, and she's doing an education degree at university at the moment. So
Fantastic.
yeah,
So, so to anybody out there that's listening and thinking, "Oh gosh, you'll home educate," my kid's not going to be able to get out there, not going to be able to go to college, they're not going to be able to go to university. You've heard it straight from the horse's mouth here. All things are absolutely possible, and I know there are colleges out there that accept kids without any qualifications as well, and I hear that quite frequently. I mean, I've got, I'm like you, I've got an older daughter who's 20 as well, actually, but she went all through the school system, and did the whole thing. So I've seen, like you, both sides of the coin, sort of the school program, and how and the difference that home ed makes as well.
yeah,
So you were saying you do quite a bit of traveling.
we do. Yes.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So I mean, would you class yourself as sort of world scholars? Is it like something you do on a very regular basis, or just a little bit at a time, or?
No, I do. I class myself as a world schooler. It was a new concept for me, I would say, because home ed was new. Obviously, I'd done that maybe 5 years. So yeah, because she's 20 now. So about 5 years. And during lockdown with
Yeah,
my son, we actually took our first, what I would call our first world schooling trip. So we've always done kind of holidays, but we've always made them different. So when my daughter was growing up, we had to fit it around school.
yeah,
Um, but I did always try and find ways where it wasn't just like a normal holiday, like go sit on the beach, and
yeah.
always kind of like where I don't drive, we always have to rely on public transport when we travel.
Right.
So we explore, we get on buses and find markets and trains. So
Wow.
we got the coach to Spain, which
Yeah.
people thought I was mad. It was like 28 hours because it was cheaper than flying's quicker,
Yeah.
but I wasn't paying £300 to go to Spain.
Yeah.
Was about £100 on the coach. So I turned that into the
Wow.
into the trip. And
Yeah.
so we've always done things like that. It's always been different. But I didn't know the term world schooling or what it meant. So I think coming across other families who also do that
Yeah.
and make kind of the world and learning about other cultures kind of part of their education
Yeah.
kind of slotted in with what I thought we were doing anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, in lockdown, I managed to take our first trip to Germany. I booked it and we went, and we were hosted by another family for 2 weeks. Um, and then when we had to leave, I didn't know where we were going, and we ended up just getting a train into Amsterdam. So from Germany to Amsterdam, without speaking the language, without being able to read German,
Yeah.
but we made it. So I kind of was like, "Do you know what, this is okay. Like I'm spending time with my son. Like we don't really know what we're doing, but we're learning. Like meeting
Yeah.
people along the way." Um, so yeah, we try to make it as regular as we can, and obviously with home education, you're able to do that with less restrictions.
Yeah, and and it's much cheaper to travel outside of the school holiday time as well, isn't it? I mean, my God, they really stiff you when you travel in the school holidays. It's horrendous. So
Yeah.
that's really great, and I love what you're doing there. But it must make earning an income quite challenging. You said you're a single mum, so obviously it's all on you to kind of earn. You're traveling a fair bit of the year as well. So how do you fit in earning an income around all that?
So I have to, well, I have to be creative is the first thing. Um, and I would say that I wear many hats. So I am mainly a empowerment coach. So I work with women online and do coaching to help them get through like childhood trauma and people that kind of want to recreate their life and get to know who they are. So I do that. I do coaching, and I also have a physical job as well. I work at home. So when we are here
Yeah,
um, with my son, he goes to a part-time Montessori school,
yeah,
only 2 days, and I would say it's the middle ground between not having to send him to school,
yeah,
but also having to work, like having to need to earn that income. So he's quite happy there, and I do have only a part-time little physical job. And I'm also a retreat host. So that came through the world schooling and the coaching and connection for families being like my underpinning reason why I do that. Because obviously helping parents empower themselves and build their traumas helps them connect with their kids more.
yeah,
And I went through that process myself, having to learn about myself to connect with my kids through home ed has helped with that. Like
yeah.
being around them, being able to understand their needs and my own needs. Um, so yeah, so I work with families and do family retreats internationally, like in different countries. Um, so it helps me obviously to earn, but it means that I'm still connected to home ed and to world schooling and
Yeah.
communities. So yeah,
I, I love that what you're saying about the sort of heal ourselves to connect with our kids better because again I think that's another big barrier to people home editing is like, oh my God, I'm going to be at home with my child all the time and there's going to be no respite and we're going to drive each other nuts and there's a whole sort of dialogue going there because that would have been my view on it. And like I say, COVID happened and actually discovered it wasn't quite as bad as I feared it was going to be, and it really has. Home educating has like deepened those bonds with my two youngest children
yeah,
a lot. It really has, and they're your biggest like they're like your mirror, aren't they? It just and they do stuff and it winds you up and you realize that's because you like do the same stuff or you're just seeing yourself in them. That can be pretty hard to sort of get around sometimes.
yeah, it can be, and I think travel has helped with that as well. So with the world schooling,
Yeah,
um, last year we actually spent so it was between 2022 and 2023, we spent our longest time kind of away from home, which was 6 weeks.
yeah,
Um, and then for that year, we spent several times going back to the same country
yeah,
and like spending 6 weeks. It was for me, it was really intense, but actually I think really needed.
yeah,
Even though with home ed during lockdown, people were like, "You'll be fine, like you're with him all the time. It's okay." And it's like, but we don't actually just sit at home
mhm,
and stare at each other every day. Like we
yeah,
we go out and we do things and we connect, and obviously being able to go to groups and having access to that actually it was challenging, but it was good for me
yeah,
personally. I was able to slow down, um, and it meant I didn't have to be in so many different places all at the same time.
yeah,
So I was able to focus on work, um, like the coaching and obviously being with my son. So I had a quiet time. But when we traveled, it was just me and him in another country for like 6 weeks
yeah,
with like, so similar, I suppose. We didn't really have access to things. We didn't have community, but it helped me to grow a
yeah,
lot. I learned obviously about myself and the things that, I needed to work on. Also, my son, he's thinks different to me and his sister. He's very go, 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 very active,
Yeah.
and very opposite of me. I like to take my time. I'm a very quiet person. So having all of those things, home ed and world schooling and being in a place for 6 weeks, it actually has helped me to come home and look at how I want our home ed journey to go
Yeah.
with the way how the UK works. We are very busy, really, really busy, and it changes all the time. Like I know this year there's more changes coming.
Yeah.
Um, so having a community and having people, so like things like this where people can share and people can have access to information is so important.
Yeah, no, it is. It really is. And I think the travel aspect, I mean, for kids, it's just so it just broadens their horizon so much, doesn't it? I mean, I didn't go abroad until I was like went on a day trip to France when I was 11. I think that was my first time out of the country, and for I've been lucky in that I've had a job that's taken me around the world, and I've been to like 50 odd countries, and to be able to share that experience with your kids as well. We took ours to Mexico for a few months last year, and my little boy, my 8-year-old, he's come back and he's been on it with learning Spanish on Duolingo, and he just because he wants to do it because he's got an interest in it, and obviously all the different foods and the different cultures, and in Mexico just the colours are just different and just everything's different.
Yeah,
And it's great for them to have that awareness that there's more out there. And I think it also, travel, it does bring people closer together because you get to understand other countries, other cultures, and I think when we understand each other better, there's less fear as well.
no,
Um,
yeah, definitely. I think with home ed as well, I think where everyone's journey will be so different. I think that's something that people who are new to it or coming to it don't. I didn't know that at first. I just took what I knew from how I thought children should learn
yeah,
and tried to apply it to my daughter, and it didn't quite work for her.
yeah,
For another child, they might need that structure so you can implement it, but you're still flexible to change, like what lessons they're learning or how they have access to those lessons, but you can still have structure within it. So it will be different for everybody. And yeah, I think like being able to hear different people's journeys, even for myself, I'm still hearing things that I'm like, actually, I might try that.
yeah.
That might work for us. So yeah, learning all the time.
No, I mean, doing these interviews for me has been brilliant. There's about 4 out in the group so far, but it's been a real eye opener. And there's some people with some real challenges. I was talking to a lady the other day, and her son, he's got really really severe epilepsy, so she's dealing with that as well on a daily basis, and she's got a daughter that's at school, and dealing with that too. And it just it's so many people have so many different challenges, but they I think what I've learned is that, like you say, if you get creative, you will
Yeah,
find a way. If you really, really want to do it, you will find the way. You'll find the way to make money. You'll find the way to make it work for you. You'll find a lifestyle that suits you. You'll find the way to educate your kids that suits them and suits you. And it's really important to listen to what they want. I mean, your daughter, I love what she said. I was just that was like, wow, yeah. And sometimes they do that, don't they? They just really make you stop and think about
they
what
do.
you're
Yeah,
doing.
they do very much indeed. But I think that's what I love about home ed as well. Like meeting people who have had different journeys or may have come to it in different ways. I get asked a lot of advice because obviously I have had, the teenager go through it, and a
Yeah,
lot of the people I obviously socialise with now are slightly younger because my son is 8. So they've either been doing it from the beginning or they've just come into it and
yeah,
they haven't quite reached like the GCSE stage. And
yeah,
that was the first question I was asked, especially by family, like, well, what are you going to do? How she's not going to get a job. She's not going to be able to like do normal things. I mean, my son's dad obviously thinks he can't get a job without going to school, and it's like,
yeah,
well, my daughter has a job, and it's like, but she went to school. It's like, she did until she was 13.
yeah,
School didn't get her to where she is now, and it's for me, it's not that I have an issue with school. I went to school, and I actually quite enjoyed it, but that
Yeah.
was like 20 years ago. It has changed massively.
Yeah.
And I think the pressure on children today is like they're like mini adults. There's so
Yeah.
much pressure on them. So, she got her first job at 16, very good job, I'll say. She worked for Hilton for a
Wow.
little while, and yeah, I was
Mm.
loving the family discount with the
Yeah.
travel as well.
That helps with the travel. Yeah.
We stayed in a nice Hilton in Egypt, so
Yeah.
we used the perks. But obviously now she has got a job working in nurseries, which is more in line with what she's studying for.
Yeah.
But for her, she's had a job since 16, and she's only just changed, so she hasn't actually been out of work. She left one and then got another one, and that was her. She wanted to study, she wanted to go to college. She realized that travel wasn't for her in terms of working in that sector.
Yeah.
She still loves travel. She's got a baby, so I'm a grandma. I should have mentioned that at the
Wow.
beginning. So she's got a little one, and we've all been together. So she took her first little trip with the baby and met us in France when we were coming back from Egypt.
Yeah.
So even though she doesn't want to work in travel and tourism, it still had an influence on her and our connection, and
Yeah.
thinking about how she can take trips with the little one and things like that. So home ed, I think, has opened us both up to seeing things differently.
Yeah.
Um, but enabled us as a family, I think, to come together and to connect more.
That's really lovely. And do you think she'll home ed her daughter?
No, sad for me to say. I am very sad to say it. But I think she wants to send her to private school so that she still has a little bit of choice
Yeah.
in in what she's learning and the environment she's in. But I think for her and her lifestyle, I
Yeah.
don't know if home ed would necessarily work for her, but we never know. We never say never.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, you came to it later in her life, and like I say, I had one child that went all the way through school, and now two that don't, and it's just, yeah, you just never know. And it is a really sort of, I think, magical way to bring your kids up. So
Yeah.
just so many more options. So, oh, that's lovely. Well, thank you ever so much, Leanne. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat today, and it's been really interesting hearing about your journey. And if anybody's interested in your family meetups and the retreats, then we'll pop a link when I put this interview out. So just look out for it there. But yeah,
Yeah.
thank you once again.
Thank you for having me.